Welcome to Friedman Memorial Airport here in Haley, Idaho. The purpose or goal for the video today is to show the safe operation of the hangar doors for the owner or the renter of the particular unit. We will also go into some basic inspections that the renter or the owner can do that would hopefully identify any issues prior to those issues becoming catastrophic, creating serious injury or a complete door collapse. So with that, we're going to move forward into the initial walkthrough prior to opening the door. Okay, starting your initial walkthrough inspection, one of the first things you want to do as you're walking back towards the back door latch is to check all of these cables, both visually, check the cable tension that you have, but also you're looking for any fraying in the cable, anything that looks like the cable is in the process of either unraveling or starting to fracture. So you'll end up doing that all the way down prior to unlatching your door latch at the opposite end, and then you'll walk back up. The main thing, as I say, is to check each one of these cables, just briefly looking at it, making sure that there's no fractures, it's not starting to unwind, because that can create some serious catastrophic issues later. Another thing to look for on your initial inspection is these door breakover devices. They allow the door to break over easier when the door is initially being raised. Some people will take these and actually move them out of the way, thereby allowing more room between the cable and their stuff in the hangar to walk by. This is a very bad practice. You also want to make sure that when you're looking at your door, to make sure that these door breakover devices are in place and they look like this, thereby reducing the amount of stress applied on the cables during the initial door raising. Okay, after you've done your basic walkthrough inspection, you come back up to your power switch panel. It's a good idea to kind of review the instructions that have been provided by, in this case, it's a rectitube. Other cases, it might be a Wilson door. But nonetheless, become familiar with their operating instructions in addition to what we're trying to show you here. Right. In addition to the operating instructions that we just went over, another important issue is the use of the stop button. Whenever the door goes all the way up and you choose to stop it, obviously the stop button gets pushed in. However, if the door goes up and it stops by its own stops, it's very important to go ahead and push the red stop button in. What this does is it disengages the electricity to the actual drive mechanism. The same is true prior to leaving your hangar. When the door is down and locked in position, is there again, go ahead and push the red stop button back in, which also disengages the electricity to the drive assembly. Okay, now that we've actually done our walkthrough and we've done the electrical panel and the instructions there, now we're coming and we're going to release the actual door latches. There's two, one at each end, as we both know. But it's really, really important to unlatch these latches properly. So this latch, when it is actually hooked up like this prior to opening the door, you go to release the latch. Make sure that you grasp this and you flip it backwards, all right, so that it looks like that prior to opening the door. Do not, I say do not, leave it hanging like this, because the door bottom here will come up and hang into this and bring the latch up like that, either doing damage to the door or damage to the operator that's standing near. So make sure that this is flipped back, and it should look like this on both ends prior to attempting to open the door. Okay, so we've done our basic safety inspection. Like I said, this doesn't really take that long. You get in the habit of doing it. It's no different than pre-flight in an airplane. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually start raising the door, and then I'm going to show you some things that you should be looking for as the door is raising. So now what you're actually watching is you're watching how the cables are actually spooling up on the drive spool. You can see that they're going up nice and uniform. They're lining up alongside of each other the way they're supposed to. So that's another thing to look for. The other thing to look for is look at that drive belt, the rubber drive belt. Is it flopping really bad, or is it moving the way it should and it maybe needs to be retensioned or replaced? These are some very basic things that you as an owner can do. But it is important that you watch this on a periodic basis so that you can identify problems before they become big problems. So anyhow, watching that spool, watching the belt drive, and making sure that everything is lining up properly. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is how high should we be raising this door. Don't raise the door all the way up to its max, because that really definitely stresses out the system as a whole. Raise the door high enough to be able to efficiently get your airplane in and out, or whatever else it is that you have to be bringing it in and out. But try not to raise the door all the way to the max. The stops should actually stop it prior to that.
That's another issue. Make sure that your stops are working properly. If the door does not come to a stop where it's supposed to, then it needs to be adjusted. But you need to understand that the door does not need to be raised to its maximum height. It just stresses the door, it stresses the mechanisms involved. Well, hopefully what we have shown you in this video helps you identify issues that may be problems with your door and helps you better understand the actual mechanics of the door. There will be another series that is geared more towards the person that's actually doing the inspections, but nonetheless we're going to be dealing with what happens with cable failures, what happens with shiv failures, what happens with belt failures, and the such, so that we can actually find someone, or if I'm not here, find someone else to be able to fix the problem and do it properly. So with that, I thank you for watching, and have a good flight, and watch your door going up and down and stay out from underneath it. Thank you.